start the presentation. Now, I will tell you this. There are some homework questions that I'm going to skip through because they're too long and plus some of you only needed parts. There's also one or two of these these homework questions. I'm like, what the hell? Somebody sent one question, I believe it's trying to teach you all of economics in one question with 15 parts. So, you know, I do empathize with y'all on some of these test questions. Please realize that. Any comment?
Makes me feel a little better, I guess, about struggling with the homework, because I'm definitely struggling with it.
And one of your questions, now one of your questions was, Miss Hart, because you sent a cardioid question. That was a good question because that's a good test question. We'll go over that.
I truly like.
But it's probably going to take today and tomorrow. Say again?
Oh yeah, there was some like I knew I didn't understand a concept, but then there are some I'm just like, really, what is this asking me?
Yeah. Well, we will take care of it. I am going to let me get this screen fixed. Can y'all see my screen? Not yet. I thought I presented. Can you see my screen?
It just went black.
Okay.
There it is.
Okay, see if you can see it now. It should be white.
It is.
There might be a little lag. I don't know why it's at the beginning of the class, but hopefully it'll work itself out. All right, first question. I'm just going with the way they came, okay? This question right here is 3.6, 34 slash, and I'll tell you it's taking a long time. I don't know why. Shouldn't take that long to come up with a homework question. Number 6, 3.6, 34, number 6. Is it a test question? No, not really. The last part is, but it's really not a test question. It's a 4 or 5 part test question. And I'm going to go over the last part, which he said he wanted me to go over, which is C. Because the first 2 parts are plug and chug. And I'm waiting for it to come up. And then I'm going to go up to my board and hopefully do the problem, and hopefully it won't blow up. See, it's taking too long. I don't know what's taking so long for it to pull up.
I know my lips.
And it's not my new toys either. Because in 120 class I used they actually said that there was no lag in my new do-jigger. So they said it was less of a lag than the Word document. So, with that being said, this problem basically says find the domain of P minus 30 is equal to 0. P cannot equal anything less than or equal to or less than 30. Okay, so that's that. I'm writing on my wall. Of course, I'm not writing on the wall, but the second part tells you to plug in D at 50, and that gives you 1600 over 50 minus 30, which is equal to 80. And of course, that has nothing to do with calculus. Here's the calculus, and evidently you're supposed to know that elasticity is D is your derivative in respect to demand, of demand with respect to T times P over D. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit my handy dandy, give me a second, whiteboard. And I'm going to clear this. And it should go to the next page. There we go. How do y'all like it so far? Is it lagging?
Oh, it's lagging bad.
Yeah.
Like you
Well,
said
I
you're
think
gonna
that's
clear
because
it.
there's something going on. It's not-
When you said you were gonna
Yeah.
clear it, it just popped up all the work you drew.
Oop, now it's changing again.
Okay, I don't think it's lag because first class this morning, there was no lag. They said it was 10 times better than the Word document. So
Well, it's
we'll
lagging
just see.
now, so.
All right. Okay, well, I'm sorry. Elasticity, I'm spelling the word. Elasticity
Doing a little better now.
is equal to the derivative in respect to, derivative of D in respect to P times P over D. Now, of course, you're supposed to know that. I don't know how you're supposed to know that because I'm not an economics teacher and I don't remember seeing it, so I guess we're just supposed to do that. So that will give us, and I'm going to jump right to that, the derivative of your actual function, P, is going to be, I'm going to write the function. You started off with D of P is equal to 1,600 over P minus 30. Better or worse on the lag?
Worse.
Well, I promise you, I think it will get better. Unless the 12:30 to 2:30 class is just has a better bandwidth. I don't know why it would be different. I think it has to also do with I'm downloading the video for that class on YouTube. I think that may be why it's lagging also. I'm not going to do that again. All right, so I'm going to rewrite this because to me, this is the important stuff. I wonder if I have a green marker. Yes, I do. This right here is the important stuff. It's red. I thought I had green. I'm still working on the calibration, okay? So y'all going to have to just, dang it. I'm still learning some of this stuff. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get a red pen. I mean, not a red pen. There. And okay, now I've done messed up something because it's not working. Yeah, I'm getting the lag, and I don't need graphing paper. Hold on a second.
I don't know about everybody else, but I just see a white gridded piece of paper.
Yep, same thing.
Okay, now, yeah, I took the red off. Yeah, I haven't done anything yet. All right. Now I'm fixing to write. I had elasticity up there, but I don't know how to go back, so I'll have to rewrite it. So, D of P is equal to 1,600, and I'm going to rewrite it, 1,600 P minus 30 to the negative 1 power. I'm writing in green because this is the most important part of the question. Okay, so D prime of P, or dP, they write it in the problem, dP, d over dP, whichever way you want to write it, is equal to negative 1,600 P minus 30 to the negative 1 minus 1 times, what's the derivative of P minus 30? 1. So therefore, delta D over delta P is equal to negative 1,600 over P minus 30 raised to the second power. So you need to circle that in. Still lagging?
Really bad.
Okay, I'm going to take off my YouTube and take care of that probably. I should have never done that. Sorry. I'll just take YouTube off and okay, things should speed up now. So let me get back to where I was. Okay, there's the, now we're going to take that and we're going to multiply this. We're going to multiply that delta D over delta P. We're going to multiply that by P over D. So I'm going to multiply that by P over D. P over D. And that's going to give me, I'm going to go over here. That's going to give me negative 1,600 over P minus 30 squared times P, which is P, over what you started with, negative 1,600 over P minus 30. Now it's all algebra.
Shouldn't that be positive 1,600?
Should be, no, it's negative. Should be positive, I'm sorry. That's what you originally started with. And when you do all the algebra, you get, and it's only, you flip, that's P over 1 multiplied by P over 30 over 16. The 16s cancel, the 1,600s cancel, and the P minus 30 cancels with this P minus 30. So you're left with negative P, with 3 dots here. You end up with negative P over P minus 30. Now the question was sent to me, how did you get the negative? Well, you got the negative right here. I'll highlight it. I can't highlight it, but I can. Now it takes a minute for it gets to turn to purple. Okay, I guess I'm just not going to be able to draw it in purple.
I see it now.
Okay,
It's
there.
the power rule that I missed.
Did you find out where the negative came from?
Yeah, I missed that power roll.
Okay. Did the lag get better after I took off YouTube?
Much.
Much better?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They said that it was better than the Word document. All right. Now let's go to the next question. Now I got to go to this. Change this to transparency. Get rid of this. This is actually how I teach class. Except I'm more used to the equipment that I'm using in my office. I'm in my room than I am this. I'm not used to this app right here. I got to get used to it, but I'm not used to it right now. All right, next one, 3.8, 11/2. Yeah, there's no lag now. 3.8, 11/2. First of all, is this a test question? Hail to the yeah. This is a test question. So let's go ahead and do it. It says, consider the curve x is equal to y to the 6. Use implicit to find the first derivative and the second derivative. So we've got something that's simple, something that looks very simple, and I'm going to use black, I hope. And I've got x is equal to y to the 6th power. I'll make sure I wrote that down right. Yeah, x is equal to y to the 6th power. We're going to take the derivative. So that's going to be 1 is equal to 6y to the 5th power times y prime. Now you could write that y prime as dy dx. I really don't care. That's up to you. Divide by 6y to the 5th. You should hear me tapping on the wall, and it should be hopefully not too far off of what you see. Y prime is equal to 1 over 6y to the 5th power. That's the 6y to the 5th. Now, take the other side, and we're going to write y prime is equal to 1 over 6y to the 5th. Now I did it by rewriting and doing the power rule. That'd be 1/6 y to the negative 5th. Y prime is equal to 1/6 y to the negative 5th. All right, go ahead and take the derivative of that. I'm going to try to make it bigger. I'm going to try to configure my table in here to where I can make it go back about 2 or 3 more feet, and it'll be a whole lot bigger. It should be able to give you a little bit better. Hopefully I'll get it calibrated a little bit better also. The IT department at Tri-County couldn't believe that I was writing on my wall and it was a smart board. They said, "How are you doing that?" It's called reading. Getting on the internet, looking at stuff. So that's going to be y prime, or y double prime, sorry, is equal to negative 5/6 y to the negative 6 times y what? Times y prime. Now, you can take that next sentence and rewrite y prime Because y prime is equal to what?
1 over 6y to
That's right. So plug and chug. Y prime, double prime, is equal to -5 over 6y to the 6th. I just rewrote that like that. Times 1 over 6y to the 5th. And that's going to give you an answer of -5, 36, y to the 11th. Why do I give you that type of question on the test? Because that's the mechanics of taking first and second derivative.
So the part I was confused about, I mean, I got the answers right, but like, where does the y, like, what's the reason the y prime gets put in there?
Because you've got a y prime right here, and you can't have a y prime and a y double prime.
Like what's, I don't know how to word this question. Just like, why does the y, like, for even for the first part, why does y prime dropped in there? Because you take the derivative of y, so you just randomly.
Implicit differentiation. X is equal to y to the 6th. Anytime you have both variables in the function, you've got to do y. You got to do implicit differentiation. So that's why this y prime is there.
So you just put it there just because implicit differentiation says so.
Yeah, and you have to solve for y prime. Yeah.
I struggled on this exactly, and the way that I heard that seems to work well for me is interpreting y as if it's a function of x. So that way you're using the chain rule, and then it uses that exactly, and you have to do the y prime in that as well when you're using the chain rule. That part made sense to me.
Well, I actually said that in class.
It's more of just like a, I don't know, like, I need more than just like, because that's what you're supposed to do.
Oh, you have to, well,
like
if
the
you want
reason
to,
behind it.
you're using the chain rule. Because what is the derivative of in respect to x? I mean, if you're taking the derivative in respect to x and you've got a y there, then you're going to have to take the derivative, and then you're going to have to say, okay, this is y prime. Now, when I was coming up through the ranks, through Calc 1, Calc 2, and Calc 3, I had the instructors just tell me, whenever you take the derivative of y, you put a y prime beside it.
Okay.
And then when you take the double derivative, then you would plug in y prime. Now, what if I took the triple derivative? Then I would plug in y prime, and then I would plug in y double prime, wherever there's a y double prime. And it goes on and on. So that's a good problem. You sent a good problem. That's a good problem. All right, here's another good test question. Y'all did send some good. I'd say probably out of these 12 questions, y'all sent about 10 good test questions. The rest of them were who attended Wimbledon and what were their addresses. So I'm not going to worry about those.
Priority 1 message coming in on secured channel.
So the next one, let me clear this. This one is 3.8, 55/15. All right, so go ahead and get started on it because you're going to do implicit differentiation again. Remember, wherever there's a y, you're going to put a y prime beside it.
Yeah, it was me that sent this one again, so.
This one goes. This is one that goes straight to the double derivative for the answer.
And this is another good test question.
How would we know which questions would make good test questions that we should send in and which ones we shouldn't bother with?
Well, what can somebody kind of interpret what kind of questions I ask on the test from so far what I've told y'all?
Those that involve rewriting the problem.
Yeah, that, or it could be the ones that are short and sweet. The ones that have 15 paragraphs, you can forget it.
So then what are we supposed to do about those questions?
Well, that's why you send them to me. I go over them and we do them and you do them for the homework.
Well, no, I mean, if you're only going over short and sweet ones that pertain to the test, how are we supposed to understand how to do the longer questions if we send you the questions, but then you're not going over them?
I am going over them. I just went over one a while ago. I went over that first question. That first question had a lot of words to it. I'm going over every question y'all send me. But I'm telling you which ones are the ones that I'm going to put on the test. So that, therefore, you will, know what kind of test I'm going to give you. All right, so here we go. E to the 3y plus x is equal to 7y. All right, so let's take the derivative. So the first one, e to the 3y is going to be e to the 3y. And then the derivative of 3y is 3. And then y prime, because it has a y in it. What's the derivative of x? 1. And what is the derivative of 7y? 7. And it has a y in it, so y prime goes beside it. Now solve for y prime. So 3e to the 3y times y prime equals 7y prime minus 1. Bring 7y over, 3e to the 3y, y prime minus 7y prime is equal to negative 1. Factor out a y prime, and that's going to be 3e to the 3y minus 7 is equal to negative 1. And now y prime is equal to negative 1 over 3e to the 3y minus 7. So that's the first derivative. Now what we're going to have to use to find the second derivative. What rule?
Quotient, or bring it up to the top and just power.
Quotient rule, or you can bring it up to the top. I'm going to use the quotient rule. So go ahead and take a minute and start the quotient rule. I'm going to go to a whiteboard or a white page so I can use the whole page. I wonder if I can copy. Well, I'll do that another time. So I'm going to go to a white page. And I'm going to write my first derivative again. Y prime is equal to 1 over 7 minus 3e to the 3y. So now I'm going to use the quotient rule. denominator times numerator prime. So I'm going to go over here, try to find me a different color. Times the numerator prime.
Should that one be negative?
No, I don't have it as a negative. Why would you have it as a negative?
It was negative on the last, like on the
Because we
last, and you had a,
subtracted that one over.
It's gonna turn into 0. It won't.
I mean, yeah, it doesn't really matter, but
Okay.
Okay, let me get there first, y'all. Okay? All right, minus numerator minus the numerator, sorry, times denominator prime, that's going to be 7 minus 3e to the 3y prime. So prime there, over denominator squared. And I'm just going to put that squared. Okay? Now I'm going to take my red marker, and as y'all were saying, what does that 1 turn into?
0.
So that whole thing goes out to 0. Okay? That negative 1 is going to stay there, but we got to take the derivative of this. Well, the derivative of 7 is 0. So we only got to take the derivative of this guy right here, which is going to be negative 9e to the 3y. So negative 9 times negative 1 should be positive 9. So if I've done my signs right, that's going to be 9e to the 3y over, and that's y prime. Don't forget your y prime. Don't forget that. Times y prime all over the denominator prime, or denominator squared. Now plug in y prime. So that's going to equal 9e to the 3y, parentheses, 1 over 7 minus 3e to the 3y over denominator squared. And that's going to give us, well, you could actually, yeah, that's going to be 9. Yeah, this is over 1. So multiply this by the reciprocal, 1 over denominator squared. And that's going to give us 9e to the 3y over 7 minus 3e, 7 minus 3e to the 3y raised to the what power? Well,
Trace.
2 plus 1, this is to the first power. 2 plus 1 is 3, so that would be y double prime, or whatever, y double prime. Another good test question.
Making more sense now.
I'm sorry, what?
Making more sense now. I just got to go back and do all of them tonight.
It's just, once you do, implicit differentiation is just like factoring. If you do 1 or 2 problems, you're going to, if you do 20 problems, you're going to get better at it.
Well, yeah, you did the couple in class. I remember you like doing it, but then I went to do it on the homework and I tried to do the show me an example and follow that, and they like
Well,
they
it's hard to
skipped
follow
it.
it's hard to follow them because they're doing all that dx and dy and dx and dy.
Yeah, it is, and that's why like whenever I sent the questions in the homework.
Send them to me. That's what I'm for.
Okay.
All right. So let's do another one. Well, this one is we jump into, well, since we're doing what is this, 3.8? What did I say, 3.8? Is this 3.6 or 3.8?
Says 3.08, I believe.
I think I got a couple more 3.8s. Let me get rid of this one. And let me go and see if I can pull up another 3.8 and try to keep everything in context with y'all so I don't jump all over the place. Yeah, there's a 3.8 up here. See, I worry so much about y'all. Okay. 3.8, 11. Just don't let me get mixed up. All right, 3.8, 11, number 2. 3.8, 11, number 2.
So let me just do that one.
And this is a test question. Oh yeah, that's a test question.
Yeah, we just did this one.
No, we did one like it.
Of it, yeah.
But if y'all don't want to do it, we can go on to the next one.
I'm okay if you want to keep up with these. The more you do it, the more it sticks in my head.
I'm probably right when I say probably 80% of the class wants to go over another one.
Yeah, I sent this one in, so please.
All right. So x is equal, I can't read on my wall very well because it's painted baby blue. So let's go with x is equal to y to the 19th. I had to look at the screen. X is equal to y to the 19th power. I'm working on getting me a whiteboard so I can put up in my room here. And that'll make it easier for me to see. So 1 is equal to 19 y to the 18th times y prime. And divide by 19 y to the 18th, divide by 19 y to the 18th. So y prime is equal to 1 over 19 y to the 18th. And I am going to work on the configuration, I mean the calibration, try to get it to be a little bit less sloppy. As it gets more toward the edge and toward the corners, it gets a little bit sloppy on the calibration. Let's go over here and say y prime is equal to 1 over 19 y to the 18th. So you can you could probably rewrite that as 1/19 y to the negative 18th, but I'm gonna do the quotient rule because it doesn't hurt for you to practice the quotient rule. So that's what I'm gonna do. Denominator times numerator prime minus the numerator times the denominator prime, 18 times 19, at y to the 17th times y prime, all over
Priority 1 message coming in on secure channel.
19 y to the 18th raised to the second power. Now, the good thing about that is the first term goes to what? 0. See if I can change this pen.
Priority 1 message coming in on secure channel.
Well, it didn't change. There we go. That goes to 0. And now, back to black. Hang on, let me see this. And I don't know what 18 times 19 is, so I'm gonna leave it as 18 times 19.
Just
So that's gonna be negative, and I'm gonna get something to cancel, hopefully. Let's see, negative 18 times 19, negative 18 times 19, y to the 17th, times y prime, because remember that y prime is 1 over 19, y to the 18th, and under there is 19 y to the 18th squared. And that fraction bar is right there. All that's over 19 y to the 18th to the second power. So you can rewrite that, and you can see that the 19s are going to what? The 19s are going to cancel right there with the 19y to the 7th. And you can cancel all that out. And I'll put the 3 dots. And that should come out. I got negative 18 over 361 y to the 37th. Somebody check me.
Priority 1 message
Check my
coming in
math.
on secure channel.
My daughter is coming to my house, and she's one of those people, when she makes a 20-minute trip, she has to text you at least 7 times. Y'all are not like that, are you?
I don't go anywhere,
You
so
don't go anywhere.
I don't go anywhere either, so I can't help you there.
Okay. She's texted me 4 times, and she hasn't even left her apartment yet in Clemson. Okay, Mr. O'Quinn, check my math. Well, let's see what they get as an answer. I don't know if it'll answer it or not.
is that weird squiggle line supposed to be a division sign through the whole thing?
That squiggle line right here, yes. All that's in the numerator.
I don't see what you're pointing to, but oh wait,
Yeah, that squiggle line looks like a Z. Yeah.
okay.
I was kind of pressed for room, and I just made it a
I
whole
understand.
line.
Just trying to comprehend.
Let's see. I'm just typing in to see what they get. Oh, they're still doing the first derivative. Well, we got the first derivative right. Hopefully we got the second one right. One over 19 y to the 18th. So we got that one right. I don't know if they're going to ask 15. No, they're not going to ask 15 questions on this one. They're just going to tell what the question is, and y'all check my math. $18 over 361 y to the 37th.
You got it right. Because it's
job.
negative, though.
All right, let's move on. I guess it's the new tools that I got. It's making me get back in the groove. All right, so that one was, I hope I didn't lose it. Let me make, okay. Was that y is equal to, x is equal to y to the 19th? Was that one?
Yeah.
Okay, this is number 17. I'm trying to go in order in 3.8. Yeah, 17. Number 4. Use implicit differentiation to find the slope. Okay, they're wanting you to find the slope, but I probably am going to find the equation because I'm going to take it one step further.
Well, I think you have to find the equation first and then find the slope for part B.
Now, you can't find the equation unless you have the slope. So you got to find the slope, then you can find the equation. But they're not asking you for the equation, but I'm going to do the equation anyway because that's a test question. So use implicit differentiation to find the derivative of sine y is equal to 4x to the 4th minus 4. And then put that 1 and that pi, put it over to the side for right now. You don't need that right now. Okay, so you need to focus on the sine. And everybody knows that the derivative of sine is what?
Cosine.
Cosine. And you have a little cheat sheet to tell you that also. So I'm just going to focus on sine. This glare on this daggone wall, I can hardly see. Y is equal to 4x to the 4th minus 4. See, that projector is shining on this wall, and it's kind of got a glare on it. That little projector is only like 6 inches by 4 inches. This little projector. Y'all don't care, I know. So here we go. The cosine of y times y prime equals 16x to the 3rd minus 0. So y prime is equal to 16x to the 3rd over cosine of y. Now you don't have to find the second derivative. Now you're going to focus on the point. Somebody tell me what this is. This is the derivative, but what is the derivative? Somebody tell me back from
The slope of the tangent.
the equation of the slope of the tangent line. Equation for the slope.
Priority 1 message coming in on secured chat.
Now she's telling me she'll be here in a minute. Equation for the slope of the tangent line. So what I need to do if I want to find the slope as a numerical term, what I do?
The point slope form.
Plug in X and what?
Y.
Plug in X and Y. Plug and what?
Chug.
Plug and chug. X is, can you see it? X is 1, Y is pi. Y prime of 1 and pi is equal to 16 times 1 cubed over cosine of pi. All you gotta do is think of the unit circle. 180 degrees, what is cosine? It's your x term, which is -1. I'll do the top for y'all. 16 over -1. So y prime of 1 comma pi is really equal to what? M, which M is equal to negative what? 16. And now you've got a point and a slope, and you don't have to do this because it's not asking, but I'm going to start you out. Y minus pi is equal to -16 times x minus what? And you just solve that for y. You don't have to for this question, but that's a good test question. Okay. Next one. Let's see, I'll do this 8:25 and then we'll call it a day today. And that'll leave others for tomorrow. I'm trying to draw it out as long as I can for y'all. 3.825/6.
When you say others tomorrow, does that mean we're going to extend the homework?
I might.
I would really appreciate it. You'd be like
So
the
would
best
I.
instructor ever.
There's a
Second
pushover.
that movement.
No,
Biggest pushover ever.
you can tell that we're trying. We're sending you stuff.
I
We're doing
know.
our damnedest. We want to get through this.
No, you don't. You want to take it again. All
I
right.
certainly
No,
don't.
this is the second time already. I'm done. This is the
All
last.
right. 3x. I'm looking for this one because I had them in order. Just give me a second. Y'all go ahead and write it down. There it is. Tab is flapped over. Oh, and Mr. O'Quinn, are you listening? I had to send another one. Somebody sent one, and I'll go ahead and tell you whoever sent it. I had to send it back because I think the answer's wrong. Can't remember which one it was, but I put a note on it. Yeah. The Witch of Agnessi. That's the
Yes.
one.
What the was that?
That is, I'll explain that later. But that question, I did that question like 3 times, and I could never get their answer. So I sent them a note, and I said, I believe y'all's answer is wrong. I've already had them
What
change
I need
to.
to explain to, I know you're gonna be finishing up soon, but if you want to extend that question at least, because that didn't make any sense to me.
Okay, I'll extend. I'm going to extend for y'all because I'm a pushover.
I don't
Oh,
even
sweet,
know what
thank
that
you,
means.
God.
What's the Witch of Agnes thing?
All right.
It's just describing. Never mind.
Okay, so this one, it says 3x. First of all, I would rewrite it as far as the radical. That's what I did. So I'm going to rewrite mine. And I'm going to say, before I even start, 3x y to the 1/2 plus y is equal to 27. And I'm going to put that 2 and 9 over here, but I don't care about that till later. So now I'm going to go through and take the derivative. Now here, I've got to do product rule first, times the derivative of the second, 1/2 y to the negative 1/2 times y prime, plus the second y to the 1/2 times the derivative of the first. Oops, not 0, 3. That's supposed to be a 3, so let me erase it. Y to the 1/2 times 3 plus y1 times y prime equals 0. Now I'm going to go ahead and get all my y primes on one side. So that's going to be 3x times 1/2 y to the negative 1/2 y prime plus y prime equals negative 3 y to the 1/2. I just took that middle term over to the other side. Factor out a y prime, and that's going to leave you with 3/2 x. If you want to change that to 3/2 x, you can. And that's going to be times y to the 1/2, and you can leave that there or take it down. I don't care yet. Okay, plus, I don't care about that yet. Let me erase that parenthesis. Plus 1 plus 1 is equal to negative 3y to the 1/2. And now divide by 3/2 x y to the negative 1/2, but you can bring that y down, and that would be 3x over 2 square root of y if you wanted to, plus 1, and all that is going to be over here, and I can't move that. I'm trying to learn this thing. Y'all just bear with me. I'll get it learned eventually. 3/2 x y to the negative 1/2 plus 1. Now that right there is your derivative, which is your equation for your slope. So now you're going to plug in x and y. And when you plug in x and y, I plugged in X and Y, and I got 9/2, negative 9/2. So when you plug in X and Y, you're going to get M is equal to negative 9/2. And then that's going to be Y minus 9 is equal to negative 9/2 times X minus 2. And then you're going to solve that. And that's going to be the equation. That's algebra. All righty. Now, I don't know. Let me count. That was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 6 good questions and 1/3 of a question good. So 6 and 1/3 questions, good test questions. I think all of those, well, the first one was that long, lengthy one, and I told you that C was the only thing I cared about. So you got 6 and 1/3 good questions there for test questions. Okay? So, now, with that being said, let the big teddy bear pushover go and change your homework for you. And I will see y'all tomorrow. I'll give everybody, well, let me go stop the,
Now these were all just like 3.8 questions that we covered today, right? Because I sent
Yeah.
some 3.10 and 11 questions.
yeah, that's what I'm gonna do probably tomorrow.
Okay.
So let me hit stop presenting and stop recording. Now y'all got to realize when I'm using this, see, my TV monitor's gone. My 40-inch, it's gone because I've got the projector, I only got one HDMI. So I can't see